Hi guys, welcome back. We're on day 2 of our trig unit. Okay, so let's get going. So review questions. So this is from the log unit. So solve for x. So natural log x equals -1. So we have this little secret e. So e to the -1 equals x if we kind of do this loop-de-loop. So I need to do e to the -1. So e to the -1, and it says round to the nearest hundredth. So x equals 0.37. Good. All right, the next one says state the domain. So if it's x plus 9, there's nothing attached to this x. Okay, so that's how I figure out what the domain is if there's anything attached to x. So x is equals to 0 is the asymptote, right? So my domain is x is greater than 0. So that would be my domain because my vertical asymptote is x equals 0. All right, so we are going to be reviewing special right triangles. You learned this last year in good old geometry, formal. So what we have to do is kind of talk about the difference between a 30-60-90 and a 45-45-90. So the 30-60-90, the one across from the 30, is we call this the short leg. Okay, it is the smallest leg. And then the one across from the 60, we call the middle leg, which has a √3 attached to it. And then the one across from the 90 is known as the hypotenuse. Okay? So for example, if I have the short leg and I want the hypotenuse, I want things to be bigger, right? So if I had 1, I'm going to times it by 2 to get the hypotenuse. Compared to if I wanted to go from hypotenuse to short leg, I'm going to divide by 2. So just the difference between those two. Okay? All right, now another idea for this one is what if I want to go from short to the middle leg? Okay, well let's see. The short leg is x, the middle leg is √3. So short to middle, I'm going to times by √3. But if I want to go middle to short, I'm going to have to divide by √3. So if I'm making it bigger, I am multiplying. If I'm making it smaller, I am dividing. Okay, I really can't go middle to hypotenuse. I have to use the short leg to get there, and that will be an easier idea to figure this out. Okay, so for example, let's say x equaled 6. Okay, that would mean 6 goes here, 6 goes here, and then what is 6 times 2? Well, then that would be 12. Okay, so that x idea is related to all the other parts. Okay. The other idea is the 45-45-90. If you notice, the legs are the same. Okay, so how does that affect it? Okay, so if this is x, this is also x. So we don't have a short and a middle leg. We just have the legs of the triangle. And then we have the hypotenuse, which again is opposite of the 90-degree angle. Okay, so if I want to get from a leg to the hypotenuse, I times by √2, but if I want to go the opposite way, I'm going to have to divide by √2. So something we're going to have to remind ourselves on is when we have to rationalize the denominator, because again, dividing by a square root of 2 creates that issue. All right, so let's try some out. So here's 1, 2, and 3. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so we have a 45, so therefore this is 45 degrees also. Okay, so then across from the 90, this is my hypotenuse. So one of my legs is 5, and I need the hypotenuse. So what am I going to do? I'm going to multiply it by √2. So my answer is just going to be 5√2 as your hypotenuse. Okay, pretty easy for that one. Now, this one's 45, therefore this is 45, and these x's are the same. So across from this is the 14. So I have the hypotenuse, and I need to find the leg. Well, if I want to go leg, if I'm going from hypotenuse to leg, I need to divide by √2. So this is when I have to do my rationalizing. So if I have a square root on the bottom, I'm going to times the top I'm going to multiply the numerator and denominator by root 2. So I have 14 root 2 over root 4. And the square root of 4 is 2. So the whole purpose of rationalizing is to get rid of the radical on the bottom. And then I can reduce this. So 14 divided by 2 is 7 root 2. So each of these x's is 7 root 2. All right. Now, if I wanted to see if I got it right, well, I would do 7 root 2 times root 2 and see if I get 14. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. 7 root 4 is 7 times 2, which is 14. Okay, so you can kind of work backwards if you like, if that helps you out. All right, for the next one, so I have the legs of the triangle, and again, I want the hypotenuse. Okay, so if I want to go from leg to hypotenuse, am I multiplying or dividing? I am multiplying because I'm making it bigger. I want the hypotenuse. So I'm going to do 11 root 2 times root 2. Well, both of these are inside the radical. So 11 root 4, and then 11 times 2 is 22. So 22 is my x. All right, so all three of these were the 45-45 special right triangles. Now let's practice kind of the more gnarly ones, which is the 30, 60, 90. Okay, so what do we need to find? So what do I have? That's what you need to find out first. I was given the hypotenuse. Well, I want to first find the short leg if I'm given the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is 16 root 3, and I want the short leg. I'm going to divide this by 2. I'm going to find the smaller one. So 16 divided by 2 is 8 root 3. I'm not going to divide it by the 3 because the 3 is inside the radical house. So 8 root 3 is my short leg. Well, where is my short leg? My short leg is across the way from the 30. 30, 60, 90. Adds up to 180, like we learned on day 1. So across from the 30 is 8 root 3. This is known as my short leg. Okay? All right. Now let's find the middle leg. Okay, so the middle leg is the one across from the 60. So middle leg. Okay, so I've got my middle leg and I've got 8 root 3. Now to go from the short to the middle, I'm making it bigger, so I'm multiplying it by root 3. Okay, so 3 times 3 is 9. 8 root 9 is 8 times 3, which is 24. So 24 is my middle leg. All right, the next one, across from the 30 is the 7. So that's my short leg. And this is 60. So this is the one across the way is my middle leg. And the one across from the 90 is always my hypotenuse. Okay, so if my short leg is 7, I'm doubling it to find the hypotenuse, which is 14. Okay, now if I want to go from short to middle, what do? Well, I do 7 times root 3. I can't simplify that more, so I just put them next to each other, and that shows that it's multiplied together. So 7 root 3 would be y, x would be 14. So I want you guys to try number 6. What is the 12? Can you label these? What is the x and what is the y? All right, so the middle leg is 12. So to find the short leg, I have to divide it to make it smaller by root 3. When I divide by a radical, I need to rationalize it. So I need to multiply the top and bottom by root 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 4 root 3 is my short leg. In order to find the hypotenuse, I double this, so times it by 2. Again, the 2 is not inside the radical, so 4 times 2. And I get 8 root 3 to find the hypotenuse. Okay? So in your 30, 60, 90, there's going to be a root 3 somewhere in here. So it's either going to be attached to the 60, the middle leg, or it's going to be attached to the short and the hypotenuse. Alrighty. So let's move on to the next ones. On the back. So for these examples, we are going to be making the x values 1. And why are we doing that? Because we're getting you ready for the unit circle, which is kind of the most important thing in this unit. So we're trying to get you guys ramped up to where this comes from. So the x's are actually going to become 1 in all these examples. So if I was trying to find the sine of 45, okay? So sine of 45. I'm going to move this out of the way for now. Okay, so sine of 45. So I'm right here. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So that is 1 over root 2. And how? I need to rationalize it. So then it would be root 2 over 2 times 2 is 4 over 2. So root 2 over 2 would be your final answer. Okay, after you rationalize it. Tangent of 45. Okay, now tangent of 45 is TOA, so opposite over adjacent. So opposite over adjacent is just 1 over 1, which would just equal 1. Cosecant. Okay, so again, so what does cosecant go with? Well, that goes with sine, right? And sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite. Okay, so if we're at the cosecant of 30, so we're still, our perspective is the 30 degrees. What is the hypotenuse? The hypotenuse is 2. And the opposite of 30, the opposite side is 1. So 2 over 1, which would be 2. All right, now let's do cosine of 60. So cosine of 60. So what is cosine? Well, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, right? Cosine, C-A-H. So cosine of 60, now my angle that I'm at is the 60 degrees. What's adjacent to that? Well, that's 1, and the hypotenuse is 2. So 1/2. So that's why it's saying without using a calculator, we don't just want the degree, we don't want the crazy decimal. We need to get you guys used to using these triangles, okay, to figure these out. All right, so I want you guys to try 11 through 14. Think about first looking at day 1. What are you looking at? So what perspective are you looking at? So what does cotangent mean? What does cosine mean? What two sides are you writing down? Okay, so try 11 through 14 and check back. All right, so this is what you should have gotten for each one of these. And thanks so much for joining me on this day, and hope you guys are having an awesome day. Enjoy that sunshine. Bye.